Hello everyone, my name is Miller and welcome back to the Season Max video, the series where I go over the max start times for the most important cars of the season, but aside of that show some of the best bits in AR and spit some facts about the cars for the car lovers out there. For today I will also include 2 Stage 5 tunes, one for the Prestige car and one for the Golden Cup / Evo, since it's a dyno beating machine. So for today I will be covering Nissan GTR50 by Italdesign, the Jaguar XE-SV Project 8, with also a Stage 5 tune for the Prestige Cup, the 4GT, also with a Stage 5 tune, and the 4GT Heritage Edition, which is one of the fastest cars in the game in Tier 4. Timestamps for each can be found down below if you want to skip parts like usual. Before I start though, 2 disclaimers. I'm not a pro at this, and if a record exists I try to get as close as possible, for example the Project 8. If none exists, for example for the GTR50, I try to set a benchmark that most likely will be improved once others get their hands on it, but now you see an initial time. And second, I would also like to thank Natural Motion for providing the cars on my dummy account to make this video possible. To kick things off, the Nissan GTR50 by Italdesign, which is this season's milestone car. The 50 in the name refers to the 50-year celebration of the popular GTR brand, but also 50 years of Italdesign engineering house. As it's a celebration model, it will only be limited to 50 production runs, with each one of them costing over $1 million. But what we have in game is not just the regular GTR50, it's the prototype, the model which was revealed to the world 2 years ago. Since then they have released more renders of the cars, and there is one noticeable difference. The gold bronze color is changed into carbon fiber, and this is the main difference between the production model and the prototype. This can be seen particularly on a couple of pictures, of which this green version with the 73 number, which is based on the Ken Mary C10 GTR. Or this version with the race number 20, of which I can't really find out which car it refers to, but it's so iconic in white. There's also other renders like the full black version or even better in blue, and as these are not prototypes, I doubt they will become the pullable versions, but they might become an Evo Cup perhaps at some point. Back to this car now, it's based on the 2018 model year Nissan GTR R35 Nismo, powered by the same VR38DET 3.8 twin turbocharged V6, with an output of 710 horsepower, which is identical to the McLaren 720S. There is one issue though, you can't really see the engine in the game, and that is not because the developers were lazy or because of lockdown like the RS6, it's because the hood has no hinge. It's an actual panel which has to be lifted by 2 people, which means they just can't model that in to be opened up, which in my opinion is a bit of a shame. But to compensate that, we can let the spoiler pop out and take a close look at the mechanism and the hinges that are attached to that. The other panel we can open is the boot to reveal the storage space, which I don't think will be ever used to put groceries in, and then obviously the doors. The interior is nothing spectacular. It's a more simplistic stylized approach made out of carbon fiber with some accents in bronze / gold to refer to the prototype. But it by no means screams $1 million car to me. Now onto some of the best bits of the car, and it all really comes down to the design. The first thing you will notice is a new adaptation of the GTR headlights, but now coming up in steps, giving that futuristic look. With the iconic rear lights then being hollow, emphasizing more onto that simplicity design. And there is also a third light which you will never see on in the game, being the brake lights, which is situated on this glass fin on the top of the car. Another small detail which is kind of noteworthy is the mix of materials used on the rims of the car, of which you can clearly see the split between the carbon fiber and the other material. As far as design goes, I really like the car a lot, and you can really recognize its GTR homage in it, though 1 million to me is still a bit over optimistic. Performance wise, it's the fastest GTR in the game and the only Tier 5 GTR, if we don't count in any of the Fast and Furious cars, which are a bit optimistic in terms of performance. And it's also a pretty good one too, with a 7.640 dyno. The runs are tricky, with the majority of the time having a needle drop start, but it could also be an advantage as my best runs seem to always be with that needle drop. But it doesn't have much dyno beating potential. Tune and pattern. The prestige car for this season is the Jaguar XE-SV Project 8, This was a milestone car back on season 88 being 21 seasons ago, and back then I already made a video on it with the best bits. The Project 8 is known to be the fastest saloon car on the Nürburgring since July of last year, setting a time of 7 minutes and 18 seconds, breaking its own record which is set in 2017. Just to put this time into perspective, it's only 10 seconds slower than the McLaren 720S, and it's a 4-door saloon. How crazy is that? But it also holds the record for the best saloon in 2 other continents on famous tracks, being Laguna Seca and the Dubai Autodrome. The Project 8 is powered by a supercharged 5-litre V8, putting out 592 horsepower, and is developed by the special SVL department by Jaguar. If you want to know more about this car, there is a YouTuber named Harry's Garage which owns one, and they actually took pictures of his car to base it off for in the game, which is pretty neat. As for the best bits, on the outside I absolutely love this pattern on the front vent, it just pops. It might be based on the regular Jaguar XE, but almost every panel all around the car has undergone some changes, with the fenders being made wider to fit beefier tires. The front bumper also got adjusted to fit the front splitter, and the same goes for the rear bumper to get that massive diffuser. The boot however seems to stay unchanged, except for the spoiler of course, and it opens up crazy high, but it reveals quite a spacious trunk to my surprise. But my favorite thing on the outside has to be the Jaguar livery. Nothing beats that, making it so special. For the interior then, it might be a 4-door, but there is no use of the back doors, as there is no seat and you'd be stuck with the pole of the roll cage between your legs, which I don't think will be quite comfy. For the front then, and the cockpit, I wouldn't say it's anything particularly crazy or special. For the performance in-game, it's not the fastest Jag, but it's pretty solid tier 4 car with a record of a 10.521, but it's by no means a dyno killer. Tune and pattern. For the stage 5 tune, no nonsense, this is going to be quite a hard prestige car because it's rather slow with the 13 plus seconds on stage 5 and I couldn't even get close to the dyno. So stage 6 will be important here. Tune and pattern. My favorite of today is the Ford GT 2005, and I'm so happy it came to the game. It's something so crazy and special, I love it. First, what makes it so special in the game? Well, it's going to be the first ever Tier 4 Evo Cup car, with the Evo Cup starting this Thursday, and the reward of that event will be the special 2005 Ford GT Heritage Edition, which is essentially the same car with a special livery as a tribute to the 1969 Le Mans winning car, which carried the number 6 and the Gulf livery. Small fact, for those who didn't know, the 2017 Heritage Edition, which also has the Gulf livery, has the number 9, which was the number of the 1968 Le Mans winning car. Other than the livery, the Heritage Edition also has the BBS rims, which is often seen on this car, while the regular pullable version has the OG Ford GT rims. There might not be many differences, but it's an important car to win, as I strongly believe the Heritage Edition will be a lock-in for the LA Builders event. I am aware that in the 2.14 update, the files mentioned that it will be the 2017 Heritage Edition, though it would to me make no sense for them to make an Evo Cup and not use this car at any point down the line, or let it be a lock-in, so I expect this to change. The LA Builders event will come in the 2.15 update, because the Havoc is still broken in terms of performance and the Dutch boys are not even visible, meaning the code we have now on the 2.14 build can be changed when released. So do not skip this event in mind of not needing this car. I would not want to end up being stuck in the LA Builders event having to buy the SCG-003S for the 4th lock-in, which will be a pain to get fusion parts for, with potentially having paid crates, just like we had with the Javelin/Charger 50th Anniversary Edition issue when we had the Detroit event. Just my 2 cents on this, you can take this information and do whatever you want with it. Now back to the Ford GT 2005, which by the way is one of my favorite cars ever. As a kid I had a small yellow Hot Wheel Ford GT and I would take it with me literally everywhere. And if I had the money now for it, I would doubt between getting this or an AC Cobra. The 2005 Ford GT was produced over a period of 2 years, with over 4,000 units made. Powered by a 5.4 litre rear-mounted all-aluminum V8, it produced 550 horsepower, and with a chip upgrade it could go a little bit above 600, allowing it to go from 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, which for a 15-year-old car is not too bad. It also had a top speed of 330 km/h or 205 mph, which is quite fast, again 15 years ago. When going in AR and opening the engine cover on this thing, you can see how crazy beautiful this car is from an engineering and mechanic perspective, with even the suspension completely being visible. When going to the front end, there is literally almost no storage, but a small cool detail here is a tow hook which has its own compartment. In case you didn't know, to open up the front panel you have to either use the button on your key, which is with the remote, or you have to pull this latch on the driver's side while inserting the key. On the other side of the car, we see a similar latch, but this one is meant to open up the fuel cap. So then you might wonder, how do I open up the engine cover? Where is the latch on that one? Well, it's on the inside of the car, which is kinda nice. But if you're here, just look at how cool it must be having that engine just literally right behind your right ear. While we are on the inside of the car, the interior is as basic as it gets, coming straight from the early 2000s, with special seats with the holes trying to resemble race cars from the 60s. But there is one big noticeable thing, the massive dashboard with the toggle switches. It must be so satisfying to flick them, I could not keep my hands off them probably. But my favorite bit on this car has to be the doors that open with a part of the roof. It's something you don't see much and I absolutely love it. For the Evo Cup, this car will come in a 20x drop rate starting Thursday with up to 11 specs to collect. As for performance in-game, it's a really strong car. With a high 9.8, it will be the second fastest non-elite free-to-get car, because that crown is left for the Heritage Edition, which pips it by about 0.07 of a second. I will show now both tunes and runs back to back. For the final tune of the day, the Stage 5 tune for the Ford GT, which will come to good use for the Evo Cup. Citizen can run a full 7/10 below dyno, making this a beast of a machine. I expect the Evo Cup time to be around a 10.6-10.7 final time, so hopefully a tune like this and a pattern like this can already help you out getting closer to that. And with that all said and done, it was another long video, and I'm sorry I could not help myself from spilling all the tea. Keep in mind, if this car will become a lock-in for the LA Builders event, like we had with the Detroit event and the Hellcat, crates might become a paid crate for the 4th lock-in. So if you don't want to risk it, I would spend extra keys while the Evo Cup is live to get enough Stage 6 parts for the Heritage Edition to keep yourself safe. just a small tip that I will also keep in mind for myself, and I will be doing so. If you enjoyed the video, do not hesitate to leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you all for watching, my name is Mille, see you around and keep racing.